Firstly, I'm going to give a very brief overview of languages. This is extremely brief, extremely oversimplified. More detailed videos coming in the future. Uh, let's say in the beginning in Europe, there was Proto-Indo-European. This was like 2000, 3000 BC. And then you had that split into different proto-languages. Proto just means an early version of a language. They're reconstructed, which means that uh, there's no evidence that they actually existed in written records. They've been analyzed and they've been created kind of by linguists who have compared languages and looked at the similarities, looked at the differences in order to deduce a common ancestor. So let's say out of Proto-Indo-European, there was Proto-Italic that became Latin in the Italian peninsula. There's Proto-Greek that became ancient Greek, and let's just say Proto-Germanic, which became English. Completely oversimplified. So you had Greek terms. Ancient Greek influenced Latin a lot, especially because the peak of ancient Greek civilization predated the peak of Roman civilization around around the turn of from BC to AD. And also the Greeks were the founders of modern medicine. Not modern medicine, the founders of medicine. In terms of modern anatomical language, that was influenced a lot by the Renaissance period, when an Italian author created a textbook, not a textbook, created a guide naming lots and lots of anatomical terms, and these were all in Latin. New Latin was the form of Latin that was used, and it's basically a revived form of Latin, which means that the classical Latin terms used during ancient Roman times, during the times of Caesar and whatnot, have been taken, they've been appropriated, they've been changed. Terms have been taken from ancient Greek as well, they've been Latinized, especially for anatomy. I'll be talking about pathology in a later video. But anatomy terms especially have become Latinized, and that's why in the modern day Terminologia Anatomica, which is the guide, not the guide, the index of all the terms which have come about in terms of anatomy, it's like the authority. All of those have official Latin terms as well as English terms. And I'll be talking about that in a later video as well. But in terms of Latin, obviously you just need to know that there's the Latin. That Latin is written in the Latin alphabet, Latin script. So is English. The reason English is originally because Irish missionaries brought Latin script to England. The Anglo-Saxons used to use runes, but that's another video. Yeah, but the Greeks had their Greek scripts. Actually, the Latin scripts came from Greek settlers in Italy, but that's also another video, and that's really interesting because you get to see what letters are more common in Greek, what letters are more common in Latin, how that can help you guess the language, as well as other things, as well as pronunciation. But that is a very brief overview. That was completely impromptu of Latin and Greek and languages on medical language. One more thing I want to say. This project is all about finding the roots of words, of medical terms especially, as you can see at the bottom of my Google Sheets, anatomy, pathology, physiology. There's one slide which is Proto-Indo-European. I'm trying to find the original root of it in Proto-Indo-European because that enables us to find cognates. Now cognates are simply, if you look at my definition here, actually I haven't written it out, but cognates are very simply like just words descended from the same root. So if I look here and look at this Proto-Indo-European term, if you go through Greek, you get this. I'm not going to pronounce it, but this also influenced Proto-Italic and Latin. So caput, cerebrum, come from the same root as cranium. Cranium obviously becomes cranium in English. And when we see these similarities, we are able to see the connections between words, and from that we are able to understand words without even having to rote memorize. We can just break down words like I have here, break down here, break down pulmonary to pulmo and arius, understand all the affixes and how they change. For example, a word class from a noun to an adjective. And then once we get a word like pulmo, we can see that pulmo and plura actually come from the same root. They have that connection there. And from that, you'll be able to more easily get a word. But that is a very brief overview. Now I'll move on to the project I've been working on.